Morning. Welcome. I need a haircut. Holy shit. I'm going to have to make that right now. Welcome back. How'd we do yesterday? How did we do yesterday? I did trade yesterday, yes. Best trading day of the year. Wow. Nice, Adam. Great day. Nice. All right. So, yesterday was nice. Nice upside post FOMC. I'm happy how I managed my day yesterday. I did what I said. I did not trade until 10 a.m. I traded after that job openings, job quits. Caught a nice piece on Nvidia. Posted that live trade on Instagram. I'm gonna probably make a video about that tonight. Just sort of the patience throughout the day, the game plan, how to stick to the game plan, and then how the game plan, turns out to be a nice green day. Really nice day yesterday. Good patience, good discipline. Not trading before all the data, waiting for the data to come out. And then after that 2 o'clock, 2:30 FOMC, had some swing trades that are looking really nice right now. And yeah, so nice stuff yesterday. Congrats, guys, if you caught a piece. Kasim, thank you. $20 donation this morning. I appreciate you, Kasim, as always. That will go towards my haircut. Thanks for my haircut, Kasim. I appreciate you. So we'll talk a little bit about yesterday. We'll talk a little bit about just sort of how you could have how I would have played yesterday after looking at the movements, what levels that were important, sort of walk through yesterday's price action. And then we will obviously get into the normal stuff, our levels to watch today, economic news, earnings calendar, all that good stuff. So, yeah, let's do it. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Press the like button. Balcony's right behind that curtain. But if I open that curtain, you will not be able to see me because the camera just does not like the exposure of the light. So today, February 2nd, as you guys know, we have major economic. We have economic news. Market moving, potentially economic news, but we have an even bigger earnings calendar. Today is the earnings calendar. Chef made $8,700 yesterday. Where's Chef? Did I miss it? Oh, there he is. There's Chef. $8,700 from the old Chef. Wow. Hell yeah, bro. All right. So today, my hair grows crazy fast. I got to get a haircut like every 2 weeks. So today on the earnings calendar, you guys can see here, we have jobless claims at 8:30. We will see how the market reacts to that. We have productivity. We have unit labor costs, factory orders, core capital goods revision. I don't know why they have that not in chronological order, but we do have some economic data this morning, so we will see the effect on that this morning live on the stream. And then tomorrow we have our non-farm payrolls, unemployment rate, average hourly earnings, labor force participation, and PMI at 9:45. So still some economic news to be watching out for today. Still have to come into today, right? Like any other day. We cannot change how we trade today because the market went up yesterday. We cannot change how our discipline is today because we went straight up on FOMC. Nothing can change. That is the big thing about trading. Let's stay consistent. Let's stay on our strategy. Let's stay on the levels. Let's continue to focus on levels. No matter what happens in the market, we're open to either direction. We're open to play both sides. We stick to the strategy that we have in place. So today is no different, right? Just because we had a big push yesterday does not mean we change what we do. All right. So that is that's the economic calendar. Let's go ahead and pull up the earnings because today is probably the biggest earnings calendar day of the year, of this earnings season. It is the big tech names that will move the market. So here they are, right? This is big. Let's go here. This is very zoomed in, but that's okay. We'll go over, right? And here is today, guys, right? No introduction needed. Amazon, Apple, Google, right? Those are major tech players. Amazon, Apple, Google, huge, definitely market moving. We have to be cautious into this, right? If we're smart money managers, if we're smart portfolio managers, we understand that this is market moving. We do not put ridiculous risk overnight. We do not hold calls or puts overnight because we're trying to guess what happens. We are going to manage our risk into the after-hours session today. You have to, unless you want to wake up with your account potentially blown up. Now, that's up to you, right? I can't click the buttons for you. I can just warn you. So Amazon, Apple, Google, very big. Qualcomm's big for chips. Starbucks is decent. And then tomorrow, it's pretty much over, right? So this is the big event today. After hours after today. All right. That is something that has to be watched. All right. So we will look at Meta. Meta had a huge push to the upside. 185 is a big level to pay attention to. We'll take a look at that. Amazon gap fill. Crazy. We talked about this Amazon gap fill yesterday. It got right above that level we talked about, and it filled the gap in the after hours. I mean, it literally went straight up in the after hours. and Amazon has filled that gap that we originally talked about. So pretty wild there on Amazon. Coming into earnings, probably a stock I stay away from today. Implied volatility is probably in the hundreds and probably not something you really want to get involved with today. We'll look at Amazon, but remember, implied volatility is going to be high. Nvidia, AMD, some major resistance to watch out for today. I think you have to make sure to pay attention to these levels on AMD, Nvidia. Tesla, looking for a 180 retest. Shopify over 51. This is one of my main watches today. This was that level that I was talking about yesterday to see if Shop can get over. It got over it. It's holding above it. I like this potential setup. Google 105, and then finally the dollar. If you guys noticed what happened on the dollar yesterday after FOMC, the dollar broke below that major daily chart support level, right? The dollar made a new low. That was a very big influence on the market yesterday. Seeing that dollar move to the downside, breaking that low was important. And this is something we're going to have to continue to watch in the coming days to see how the dollar reacts. All right. So that's the tickers. Quick self-promotion. Go follow my Instagram. Go follow my Twitter. It's right on the screen there, guys. Options_insider on Instagram. Desi_trade on Twitter. I post live trades on there every day almost. Not every day. Whenever I have a trade to share, I post a live trade there. Live reactions. It's a great place to check out. Great place to keep up to date with some of my trades, some of the things I'm watching. I want to try to continue to grow those social medias. If you guys are not following there, make sure to check it out. It's right there on the bottom of your screen. I'll make it even more apparent for you. Right there on the left side of your screen. Options_insider, Desi_trade on Twitter. Make sure to go check those out. All right, let's get started. ES. So, this is very important today. Very important. We cannot come into today with an extreme long bias. We cannot. And here's why, guys. This is possibly one of the most major levels that we are looking at here in the short term. This is really big. I know I say that a lot, but I really do mean it this time. You guys can see on the daily chart, we are sitting at a major previous low, previous low, previous high, previous high, previous high, and previous high, right? This is huge. This is very important. And this could cause the market to fall a little bit. So I will not be going long today until I see the ES over 4180. I just can't do it, right? I just can't do it. That is just, that's my game plan. And that is something that you have to stick to, right? So my game plan today is do not long until I see the market get over 4180, right? You have to see it get over that level. That will, if we're patient and we wait for that level to break, there will be opportunity on the other side of that level. If we can get above 41.8, right? If we get above these previous highs, we have to, we will find opportunity. But if we try to trade it through this area, we are exposing ourselves to potential fake outs. And we do not want to be exposed. Excuse me. We do not want to be exposed to that 30-point range and potential fake outs in that zone. So if I go to the 4-hour chart, you can see on a little bit of a closer time frame, you can see right here, right? This area has rejected here. It's rejected here. These are pretty big rejections, right? And we are sitting right at it today. So I do not want to be the person today that goes along in this level and watches the market do this, right? I do not want to be that person. That's not in my plans today. So to avoid that, I will just not buy calls and not go long until we are above 4180. This is 4175. This is 4180. I want to see a move over 4180. I want to see us hold there. I want to see us build some support, and then I'll look to play that long if we get that continuation move today. Until we get that, I will not look for longs. Now, on the flip side, I will not look for shorts I will not try to play this rejection personally. You might be able to, right? There might be some opportunity to go short off 4150 today, 4150, 4180. There might be a little bit of downside, maybe a pullback to take advantage of. But for me personally, with the trend in the market, with the strength in the market recently, and the resiliency that I've seen over these last few weeks, I'm not so interested in playing this supply rejection today. The downside that I will take today is a break back under 4100 and a rejection of 4100. That would be the downside play that I would be interested in. A break under 41, then look to go short under 4100. Because I believe that if we break back below 4100, then the bears might have a little bit of something to take advantage of. Because that means we are back below here, we are back below here, we are back below here. If we are back below this triple top, things might unravel a little bit. And that is where I think your best risk to reward and your highest probability short is on the market. So that is what I would watch today. Those are my main levels. I would not be long into this zone. I would not be short until under this. And pretty much between this area, we'll have to sort of monitor. Maybe there's some type of short-term opportunities between that area, but I am going to do my best to avoid trading here. I would like to see the levels trigger my entries, right? That is something that I'm very focused on. I want to make sure that my entries on individual plays are triggered by key futures levels. So 4100, looking for that rejection for downside, or the break above 41.8. The other thing, right? The only other thing I would say is there might be a play into 4100, right? There could be some short side plays into 4100 today. That is possible. And also, right, last thing I want to note is that if we do pull back to 41, right, if we do pull back to 41 and we see something like this form, right, if we see this and then maybe today or tomorrow or next week we start to see this start to form, then that is my next good risk-reward long entry, right? If we start to see a pullback, if we see the 4100 level turn into a support, that would be my next quality long entry down at 4100, right? That is pretty much what the market has done this entire time. The market has made new highs. It has pulled back to the previous highs, right? It's happened how many times? Previous highs, breakout, pullback, long entry. Pullback to the level, long entry, right? Pull back to these previous highs right here, long entry, right? So I'm going to continue to look for that same thing. My long entries are not going to be at the top of the candles, right? My long entries are going to be on the retests, which the market has showed us that it's done over the last month and a half. So my next really strong long entry, in my opinion, is a pullback to 41. It's a retest of 41. See if you can consolidate there, and if you can, I'd look for that continuation off 41. All right? That would be the best long entry, in my opinion, in the coming days. All right, so that's it, right? 4150, 4180, watch that supply. That is a major daily chart supply. 4100, watch for the retest. And the only short that I would get involved in today is a break under 41 and a rejection of 41. That's the short entry that I would be comfortable with. All right, that's the ES. Now the NASDAQ, this gets a little bit interesting. This gets a little bit interesting on the NASDAQ, because if we look at the NASDAQ, and if we look at it in relation to time, that 4150 level that we're looking at today on the ES, right? This 4150, 4180, the previous March lows, May highs, September highs, and November highs. Those highs and that rejection point that we're sitting at on the ES in relation to time is up here around 12,800, 13,000 on the NASDAQ. And you can see that we are not there yet, right? So same exact thing. Here's our March lows, right? Here's our May lows here. Here's our June highs. Here's our September highs. And you can see that that same level that we're sitting at on the ES has not yet tested on the NASDAQ. So the question today is, does the NASDAQ catch up, right? Does the NASDAQ outperform and catch up to this 12,800, 13,000 level? Or does that ES level cause a rejection, and does it bring the NASDAQ down with it before it catches into that 13,000 area, right? That's the big question today. So for me, I'm going to put a little bit more weight on the ES today because I think the ES will decide this next move. Will the ES break this supply? If yes, then that means the NASDAQ will push into 12,800, 13,000. If the ES rejects that level, right? If the ES rejects this level, that means the NASDAQ will reject as well. The NASDAQ will not go straight up if the ES is rejecting. Just it's not going to happen. So that's what I would be watching. I think you put a little bit more weight on that ES level today. I think that's probably more important because that will decide, I think, what the NASDAQ does today. Can that ES push over that supply? If it does, you're looking at probably 13,000 on the NASDAQ as your next move. If we look at the NASDAQ here, right, there is no real resistance in this zone, right? The zone that we're trading in right now, there's really no real resistance, right? You have just sort of straight up and straight down moves in this zone. You do not have a rejection point up until around 12,800, 13,000, right? So that's what I would watch, guys, right? That's the key. ES, 4150s, 4180s. Do we get through it or do we reject? You have to wait to see. You have to wait. You cannot take a trade before you see what happens in this zone. If you do, you're getting emotional, you're getting impatient, you're not waiting for the market to decide a direction, and you're just wanting to take a trade, right? The structured thing today is to wait to see what happens in this supply zone. So that is what I would pay attention to. Dow Jones, very interesting on the Dow. Now, this is another thing that's very interesting out here. The Dow did not go green yesterday. It barely went green yesterday. The Dow remained pretty subdued yesterday, which is something to pay attention to. I'm not sure exactly what that means for us here just yet. What I will say is that the Dow has strongly outperformed. So the Dow is only about 5% off all-time highs. So the Dow may not have to go up. It might be more of that ES and NASDAQ tech catch-up move to the Dow Jones. And the Dow Jones just sort of underperforms for a few days, few weeks, however long it is, because the Dow Jones is 5% off all-time highs. The NASDAQ is still 25% off all-time highs. So there is a very big disconnect between the Dow performance and the NASDAQ performance. So if we do see some tech rotation, then I would expect some of these Dow names to be a little subdued over the next few days, few weeks, however long that might be. So pay attention to that. The Dow barely moved higher yesterday. I mean, I think it even closed red yesterday. Look at this. All right, this is the Dow move yesterday. You are basically right where you started this week. So interesting stuff there, right? Something to pay attention to. I can't tell you exactly what it means. I can't tell the future, but this is something to pay attention to, right? Russell outperformance again. Small caps are on an absolute tear. Small caps have been wild. Everyone's getting in that risk-on environment again. Now, what does that mean? Are we heading into a crash and burn, or does the risk-on environment continue here? I can't answer that. That's for you to decide. But as of right now, I'll continue to trade whatever direction we're moving. Right now, we're moving up. Russell, big breakout of this 1950 area. This is that, yeah. So look, you can see, just for a second, you can see how the Russell is front running this market a little bit. So the Russell is above the March lows, right? It is above the June highs, or the May highs. It is above the September highs. It is above the November highs, right? It broke that level. Whereas the ES is still below that level in relation to time. So you can see how that Russell, the small caps, are really outperforming here as of late. Yeah, something to pay attention to. That's why you guys are seeing all these like shit I don't want to say, because there's money to be made. So I don't want to say that they're shit, but they really are. The stocks like Roblox, Peloton, Coinbase, Uber, all these little companies, all these small cap companies, which are still potentially good stocks long term. Some of them will figure it out. Some of them will come out of the trenches. It's absolutely a fact. Some of them will do well. Management will reassess their business. Hopefully they hire the right people. It will happen. But as of right now, that's why you're seeing those stocks start to get talked about a lot, right? You're seeing everyone talk about Upstart and Coinbase and Affirm and Uber and, oh my God, look at Mara and Riot. Look at look at all these. Look at Pinterest again, Carvana, Peloton, right? All these stocks that people are talking about again. It's because the Russell is outperforming. All right, so that's why. All right, so that's the futures. ES, we got about 8 minutes until economic data today. That is something that we're gonna have to see what happens here on the ES when economic data comes out. All right. So let's go Meta. Let's go Meta. The old Zuckerberg, huh? He did it. So I will say I'm with the guys that don't understand why Meta went up. I will accept it. I'm never gonna not accept a move like this on the market. Sure, I'm not gonna be the one that's like, oh fuck this, man. I'm shorting the hell out of this move. That's not the type of mindset that I come into the market with. But Meta had a terrible earnings. They had a terrible earnings, and I guess the buyback news is what everyone. I understand that's the argument, the buyback, but I still don't quite understand it. A buyback should not. I don't think a buyback should shoot the stock up 20% when net income was down 50%. But hey, what do I know? So big push on Meta. Sure, I'll take it. Meta, big push, 185. All right, 185. That's the level to watch today, guys. No questions about it. 185 is a monster level here. You guys can see previous high right here is exactly 184.98, and that is the high that I would be monitoring. If Meta can break over 185 today, then I think that's where you can see continuation. You should not take a call on Meta today unless it is over 185, right? This could very well be a rejection point, right? You can see this. This is a level from the past. If you try to take calls on Meta before 185 break, you are asking to potentially get caught in a pullback, all right? So 185, look to see if it breaks, look to see if it turns into support. If Meta can break over 185, if it can turn it into support, that would be the only time that I would look for a continuation move. If Meta does not get over 185, there is a chance for it to do a little bit of a retest move. You could look for the retest bound to this 179, 178 level. And if it breaks below that, then I would look for the retest of 170, 171. So right here would be the retest level that I would look for. This would be the more comfortable long entry for me on Meta. If I am looking to trade Meta, I would rather be long back here. Previous high, previous high, previous high, previous high, previous high, previous high. All right? Multiple previous highs. My retest entry, if we get a pullback, I would look for longs here. Right? This would be my long area. I would not be so... I am not the person that's going to chase Meta today at 185. It's just not going to happen. That's just crazy to me. If you held calls overnight, congratulations. You killed it. Those are going to be up a fat amount for you this morning if it holds up. I think the expected move was like 166. So you were up a substantial amount more than the expected move. So those should be up really large today. I would look for the pullback back to 171, 170. That would be my long entry area to watch for. The retest of this previous very heavy high, this very heavy resistance that we went right through on earnings. I would look for the retest of that, and then I would look to see if I can go long off that 170 retest. All right, that's my game plan on Meta. Next, we got 4 minutes. Let's go over that Amazon gap fill. So that was crazy. Here's the daily chart on Amazon, and if you guys were here yesterday, you remember us talking about this. We talked about the break of this wick high right here. That was 104.87. That was the exact level we talked about yesterday. Wanted to see 104.87 break for upside continuation into the gap fill. The gap fill was up to 110, right? And look at the 4-hour chart. You can see once we broke that 104.87, we literally went right up to the gap fill. And the gap fill is the exact level that we are rejecting now. So, I mean, the moves are just making a whole lot of sense. Move straight to the gap fill, reject right at the gap fill, makes a whole lot of sense here. Now, what I want to show you, which I can't make up, which is pretty sweet. Remember our 104.87 level? Look at the end of day action at 104.87, 105. Look at this area right here. Can't make that up. Just technical analysis, right? Technical analysis. If you can trust it, if you can learn it, you can find these levels. I mean, look at the reactions at 104.87, 105 yesterday, right? Push, hold, right? We held that gap fill high or that gap fill level into close yesterday, which was very telling, very interesting to see. Someone in the Discord actually brought it up like right at the end of the day. I was shocked to see it because I wasn't watching Amazon at the time. But very crazy hold right at that gap fill level, 104.87, and then a move straight up to the gap fill. So today, IV is going to be crazy high, I'm sure. I'm not going to trade Amazon today. You could maybe look to trade the downside off the gap fill level. It's possible, 110, that's possible. But with the high IV, I just don't think it's even worth it. I'm probably not going to go for it. But I just wanted to share with you guys how that gap fill worked, how that retest level worked, or the breakout level here at 104.87 worked, and how it just sort of went right into that gap. So let's go into the ES real quick. Let's see what this data does for us here. And yeah, let's see if we have to change up any game plans today from this data. All right. What do we got? We got 30 seconds. Take a second, press the like button. 1,600 people here, 300 likes. My goal this year is to get 1,000 likes on live streams. If you guys could help me hit that. I know it's annoying that I ask it, but it really does help. So if you guys could, if you enjoy being here on a daily basis, if you could come into the day, press the like button. It means a lot. Helps out the channel. And I appreciate it. All right. We got 7 seconds. Let's see. My first opinion is that we're going to reject this 4150, 4180 area, but let's see what happens on data. All right. Doesn't look like there's much of a reaction yet. Not much reaction at all. Top time frames chart supply demand. I like the hour, 4 hour, and daily. All right. You're going up. You're moving up. I still don't have the data here. 4164. Where the hell is the data? Just answered that question, Chandler. 183 versus 186. So estimation was 195. So less jobless claims again. I don't know how much jobless claims is affecting the market these days, but less jobless claims again. It's about the same as the previous, but it is still lower than expected. It's about the same as previous, but lower than expected. So you would assume lower than expected is still sort of bearish. Less jobless claims means that people are still working, means a strong job market, means, I don't know how long does that rhetoric stand here. Things might be changing, but for now, it doesn't seem like much of a reaction at the moment. 183 versus 186 previous. It's about the same as previous. Not much of a change there. Powell's always going to talk about the job market. That's a big thing for Powell. Estimated was 195, so it's Pretty damn close. Non-farm productivity, 3% versus 0.8 previous. Unit labor costs. The unit labor cost downside might be interesting. Unit labor costs dropped versus the estimated. 1.1 versus 1.5. All right. For now, looks like nothing much. I think levels still are the main thing to pay attention to, right? Levels are still intact, so we pay attention to levels. Levels are still intact. We still can't go long here, right? We still cannot go long in this red zone. There's no going long in this red zone. This is no trade zone here. So, yep, same thing. Nothing changes. All right, let's go back to, we went to Amazon. Let's go Nvidia, AMD. Nvidia, AMD. Nvidia is probably at its biggest test level of the last however many months. This is going to be the major test here for Nvidia. Right here, guys. You can clearly see what I'm looking at, right? This is probably the biggest test of a level here for Nvidia in the last few months. You are right back at the January, February, March lows. And it is, I mean, I'll continue to hawk on this because I personally believe in it. It's something that you will hear from me. I'm not going to change my views. My YouTube channel is about my opinion, my views. If you dollar cost averaged into Nvidia over the last 6 months, you are right back to where it was in the beginning of 2022. I mean, it is literally right back to where it was in January of last year. So congratulations to anyone that dollar cost averaged into Nvidia over the last 6 months. If you continue to add in little share increments on Nvidia, if you dollar cost averaged into Nvidia over the last 6 months, you are back at where we were trading in the beginning of 2022. Whether this breaks down here or continues, it is still an awesome move for Nvidia, and congratulations to you guys that dollar cost averaged into this name. You guys know I am the delusional shop semiconductor one-eyed bull, and I will continue to be that person because that's what I truly believe in. So very nice push on Nvidia. Awesome for the long term. This is going to be big. You know, this is definitely going to be a very cautious level up here. I'm not going to be very aggressive on longs here, pretty much is what I'm saying. It's a tough one, right? It's tough to make my head think that this is a long, my mind to think that this is a good long opportunity on Nvidia, right? You can clearly see the previous demand here. You can clearly see the possibility of the rejection at this level. Totally possible. Totally, something to be paying attention to. That is, I would say it's anywhere between like 210 and 212 is probably the area that I would watch today. You can see like this 211, 210, 212 area is where you started to reject. So yeah, I would pay attention to this zone. I would be a little bit cautious longing Nvidia into this zone, knowing how heavy this is going to be. If I go back to the daily, you guys can clearly see, what the hell did I just go to? No, 1 year. Let's go 3 year. 3 year, all right, 3 year chart. You can clearly see how important this is going to be. So, little cautious on the longs here. If you haven't been long this whole time, you're going to have to probably accept that your opportunities are running out. This is a 60% push on Nvidia over the last month, and just please be cautious up here, right? That's all I'm going to say on Nvidia today. 210, 212, be a little cautious of that previous triple bottom. AMD, pretty much the same thing on AMD. AMD, monster move on earnings yesterday. Monster move, I did not expect this. I'll tell you straight up, I did not expect this move on AMD yesterday, one bit. But AMD just rallied all day, regardless of FOMC. I mean, look at it. Look at the reaction on FOMC yesterday on AMD. It pretty much just said, fuck you, and just continued higher. It never even broke down in any sense. It just rallied, and just has continued for pretty much all day. So crazy move on AMD yesterday. But, right, here's another but. Look at where we're trading, right? This is not a joke either, right? We have previous lows, previous lows, previous lows, previous highs, previous lows, previous highs, right? This is a big level for AMD. So both AMD and Nvidia are sitting at some major daily chart supply levels, and the long opportunity it's tough, right? It's tough to get behind. You know, if you're trading off levels, if you don't have bias, this is tough to get behind, right? This would tell you that, hey, I should be cautious on upside. This 85 zone might be a little difficult to get through. So watch out for 85 today. I think your best long entry on AMD, if you are waiting for, you know, a better long entry here on AMD, I think your best long entry is back at 79.80, right? If you can retest this double top right here, retest this previous high, retest this previous high, then I think you can go long back at that 79.80 area. That's where I would want to be long there on AMD. Not so much long after a 18% move in one day. I mean, from actually 2 days. So from yesterday, what is that? From Tuesday into today, 18% to the upside. So that's what I would watch, right? That's what I would watch. Pragmatic idealist, I would really encourage you to not care about whether the bottom is in. The bottom does not matter. I don't know how, guys, knowing whether the bottom is in does not matter to anyone, right? If you day trade, you trade on a daily basis, whatever direction it goes. If you invest in your long term, you dollar cost average into the stock market over time. It does not matter if the bottom is in. If we reject and go down 20%, it makes no difference, guys. If you invest correctly and you trade correctly, it does not matter. You either day trade the move on the day or you dollar cost average into the market. If the market drops 10%, I do not give a shit. I will continue to buy as it drops lower. And in 20 years, right, I won't know you. You won't probably know me. And the market probably is higher in 20 years. And then we all don't care what happened in 2023, right? Stop worrying about if the market has bottomed. It's a waste of your time. It's a waste of your mental energy. It's a waste of trying to battle with whoever's online. Oh, the bottom's in, the bottom's not in. Stop thinking about it. It's such a waste. It's all it is going to distract you from making money and distract you from what is right in front of your eyes, right? Who cares? And I'm not saying that to get, I'm not trying to call you out, pragmatic, but it's something that I really am very strongly opinionated about. It's something that I think limits a lot of people because they're like, oh my God, like this thing's going to tank, or, I'm so worried about it. Is this really the bottom? Like, what's going to happen? I don't mean to be a dick, but that is how I think you should look at the market, right? That is how I think you should look at the market. All right. So sorry about the rant, but I think it's very important because everything that we've been talking about on this live stream is coming to fruition, right? Dollar cost averaging, taking advantage of downside, taking advantage of these downside moves. Even if we drop again, right? If you were dollar cost averaging into 2022, you're sitting really pretty right now. I mean, you probably couldn't be more happy at this moment. If you bought Tesla at 100, Nvidia at 120, right? If you were dollar cost averaging into these moves, even if we go down again, it doesn't matter, right? You were buying at some good times. So, Tesla. This could be a nice one today as well. So Tesla, 4-hour chart, 188, 190 looks a little tough, right? I'd be a little bit cautious there. Previous highs here, 188, 190 looks a little bit, I would be a little bit cautious in that zone. If it does reject that zone, I would love a retest of 180 today, right? I would love a retest of 180 right here. So pull back to that 180. You guys can see right here, if we can get that retest of 180, that could be a nice long entry today. Now, whether Tesla moves back to that level today, that's the question mark. But if it does, that would be a nice place to watch for a nice little retest long, in my opinion. I would be a little bit cautious just buying calls into this 188, 190. If it breaks 188, 190, if you can get that break today, right, above these highs, right here is 188.50, okay, so both those highs are exactly 188.50. So we need to have a level at 188.50. All right, no doubt about that. Both these wick highs right here are 188.50 on the dot. So I would say if you see a move over 188.50 today, then I would say that 200 is in the picture, right? If you can see a push over 188.50 and you can see a hold maybe today, tomorrow, next week, if you start to see this thing base above 188.50, then I would say that 200 is definitely, right around the corner. There's not much rejection points above 188.50 into 200. If we go back to the 4-hour, you will see that right here. If we look at this 4-hour chart, above 188.50, it's pretty much just a straight up move. There's not really any rejections in there. So 188.50, 180, 200. The other thing I will say is I don't know how much this will affect the market or affect Tesla. BlackRock yesterday came out and said that they own 7.5% of Tesla. I could see that being a positive catalyst for Tesla today. Very possible. For a company like BlackRock to own 7.5% of Tesla, a stake in Tesla like that, and they probably fucking bought it at like 120 because, obviously they definitely bought some of these lows. That's for sure. Something was happening, right? We talked about this on the live stream all the time. Something was happening here on Tesla at these lows. Look at this volume increase on Tesla. This is obnoxious, right? This is an obnoxious increase in volume on Tesla. Look at the average daily volume all of last year. And then look at the increase here in the last 2 months, right? So something was happening over here. Look at that. Just a huge ramp up in volume. That's the highest volume since 2020 from back here. So something was going on there. Maybe that's some BlackRock buying. Maybe that's some fund buying. Who knows? But 7.5%. It might occur. All right, it might occur that causes some catalyst to the upside. So watch out for that. 188.50 today on Tesla. All right, Shopify, my baby, my retirement fund. Shopify is looking hot. I'm liking it. It's above 51. It's actually starting to push higher right now as we speak. I own Shop at 34, like right in here. So this is a nice move right now, almost 100%. We're getting there. 4-hour chart. Let's get a little bit more time here. 360. If we go ahead and zoom in, the level that I was eyeing was 51. All right, 51 was this low here. 51.12, 51.20. That's all this low here. And then the low here is 51.30, 51 on the dot. So if I zoom in on this, this low is 51.30. This low is 51.13. This low is exactly 51. This little double bottom here, right? We needed to get above that. And now, today, we have gotten above that. And we are holding it, as of right now, as support. So, I think if the market can hold up today, Shop might be one of my top watches today for upside continuation. This is a really major breakout for Shop. I mean, look to the left here. I really don't see much resistance, maybe until like 56 here. Maybe you watch like this 54 right here. If I zoom in on this, maybe you watch this little high right here around 54. You could keep an eye on that, 54. You can watch some of these previous lows, 56, 61, right? I don't see a major shelf or a major double bottom or something that would cause a reaction here. I would say maybe watch out for 54, but above 51, I think this thing looks pretty good. And there could be a nice little push here. So definitely watching Shop. Has to hold over 51. If Shop goes back under 51, no good. All right, no good for upside. If we're back under 51, has to hold that to be bullish. But if we can see that hold, I like it. I like it. Here's your weekly chart. I mean, just a sick weekly chart, inverse head and shoulder. Look at that thing. Pretty badass inverse head and shoulder on the weekly. If we can get moving here, juice. Juicy. So let's see what Shop does. I'm happy right now. We'll see how happy I am. We'll see how long that lasts, but I'll take the wins when I can. Next, Google. This is pretty big on Google as well. Oh, Google's still going? Oh, man. Yeah, this is a big break on Google. This is a big break on Google. Here's why. What's bearish for Shop? Like in general, I mean, on a break under 51, but I don't know what's bearish for Shop long term. I mean, I think Shopify has everything it needs to dominate the future of e-com, and that's why you guys know you've heard me talk about Shop way too many times. I'm sure you're sick of it, but hey, it's working out. So Google. This looks very similar to Nvidia, right? But it's breaking above this level. So this is something to watch today, right? We have 105, we have 105, we have 105, we have 105, right? 105 is pretty major. Yes, it does have earnings. IV is probably high. Maybe not something that's that great to look for, but this is a very important breakout, so I wanted to bring it up. 105, previous daily chart lows. And then if you look at this today, look at the 105 level. Look at what has occurred here at 105. We have broken it. We have held it as support. We have curled off of it. That's a pretty nice little push off 105. That is the exact previous lows, and previous high right here. You have broken it. You have held it. And this thing, this thing looks like it's got some free range up here. We'll see how strong the market is today, but there's definitely some free range here on Google. Google itself has been a very held down stock, right? Google has heavily underperformed for a very long time. Is there any type of sympathy here on Google above 105? I think it's possible. I would watch to see if Google can remain over 105 today for continuation to the upside. All right, last thing I want to bring up is the dollar. This is a big breakdown for the dollar, but we're going to have to see if it stays below. That's going to be the important thing. Can it stay below? The low of this daily chart is 101.414. That is the exact low of the dollar from back here on the 31st of May. That is where you want to see the dollar stay below today. If the dollar can remain below that daily chart low, I think you can possibly see more continuation on equities. If the dollar starts to break back up into this channel and we start to move up, like maybe above the 101.50s, all right, if you start to break back into this channel, you might see some weakness step in today, guys. So obviously be cautious of both sides. Keep an eye on this dollar. If that dollar starts spiking, if there's something that causes the dollar to increase, you could very well see some weakness today. So please pay attention to this. Dollar, you would want to see the dollar stay below 101.40 for downside. All right? You'd want to see the dollar stay below 101.40 for market upside, for equities to stay up. All right? Damn. Yeah, she's strong. She's strong. All right, let's go to the ticker form, and then we're gonna jump out here. If you guys could press the like button, we're almost to 1,000, guys. Oh shit, let's hit that 1,000. If you guys enjoyed the stream today, if you enjoyed some of the levels, some of the charts, press that like button. We're almost to 1,000. All right, I'm not sure what that is. We'll go to it. Pins, end phase, ELF. that a stock? Target, Netflix, Costco. All right, let's go. Let's do it quickly. And then let's get the hell out of here. IEF. Oh, it's the Treasury. Yeah, I'm not gonna do technicals on the Treasury bonds, guys. I mean, there's macroeconomic factors that will affect Treasury bonds. I will not be doing technicals on Treasury bonds. Pins. Pins. Guys, I would stay away from pins, please. It has earnings. It's pins. At the end of the day, it's Pinterest. Enphase. Yeah, Enphase is back above this high, or above this rejection point. So keep an eye on Enphase. Who knows? Maybe there's an opportunity here. Enphase is one strong stock, I will say. I would say just watch out for these previous lows right here. Right around this 236, 237, I would keep an eye on this area. 235, 236, 237. Keep an eye on that zone on Enphase. ELF. ELF Beauty. I don't know what this is, but it has gone straight up. Holy shit. What the hell is this stock? Is this like an Ulta? Is this like a ELF Cosmetics? Why do beauty stocks go up so much? I mean, I think it's crazy. I guess women really do like to buy their makeup. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't buy this at all-time highs, but, maybe it breaks out. I would say I would need to see this back at 52. But, hey, I mean, this thing looks pretty strong. Ulta has not gone down. Ulta has not been red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Ulta has been green 14 of the last 15 days. Ulta has been green every day for 2 weeks. I don't get it, but hey, if you're invested in Ulta, congratulations, because you are in the best stock on the market. There is I don't know if there's another stock. I'm sorry, those are weeks, not days. Let me take that back. That is 14 weeks out of the last 15 weeks. So what is that? Not notes. I need to go to calculator. 14 times 7, or let's do 5. 70 trading days. Ulta has been green 70 out of the 75 trading days. I mean, Jesus. I don't know another stock that's done that. That's crazy to me. All right, Target, big gap on Target. Yeah, this might be something to watch. Let's keep this on watch. I'm going to put a little alert here. Create alert at or above. Let's go at or above 180 just so we get a nice little awareness before it gets there. Let's watch this gap fill. I mean, that's a big-ass gap fill right there. So, yeah, I'd watch this. Hold on, guys. All right. Netflix cost, and then we're out of here. It's getting late. Netflix, if market continues, I think Netflix can reach this 395, 400 area. I think it's possible, right at these previous highs over here. If we go to the short term, I would say the only long entry at this point would be a break and retest of the highs. You need to see a break and retest of the highs at 370, right? I would say look for the break and retest of 370 for your next long entry, unless you can get another pullback. Last, Costco. Costco reported sales for January yesterday, just randomly, and shot higher. I don't like where Costco's at for longs. Costco's pretty much in the middle of no man's land here. You can see it just sort of sitting right in the middle of this upside. I don't like that for longs. I would say watch out for 536. I would need a pullback before I took a long here on Costco. It's just sort of sitting in the middle of nowhere there. All right, that's all I got. Press the like button. Let's get to 1,000 likes. We're almost there. I don't think we're going to get it. People are stingy with the likes these days. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hopefully you enjoyed the live stream. Apple has earnings. I'm not going to look at it. I wouldn't trade Apple today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. Hopefully you learned something from it. Watch those ES levels we talked about. Make sure you structure your days around futures levels. I think this is something that has changed my trading. It's talked about a lot. The GOAT, Carmine Rosado, talks about this all day. He talked about it on his live stream yesterday. I watched it. I'm sure many of you guys did as well. Make sure that technical levels on the futures trigger your entries. Make sure to game plan around these technical levels on the futures. If you're not game planning around these levels, you don't have a plan, right? You don't have an edge. So pay attention to those levels, game plan off of them, make decisions based off what the market's doing. And, that's all we can do. We can game plan. If it doesn't work, we risk management. We make sure that we don't risk too much. And that's it. All right, guys. Have a fantastic day. I will see you guys tomorrow. And good luck today. Peace out.